So this video is kind of long, but I think you guys will really enjoy it. Now it starts at the most recent competition that you were at, that I was so fortunate to see you skate so beautifully at. And here's a little bit of your interview, which is how I know you, Deanna.
And everyone got these little note cards while we were at lunch. It was just a fun activity. Everyone had a question and everyone had to read it out loud and everyone had to answer the question. And my question was, what would you do if you knew you couldn't fail? And I just said, oh, I'd win an Olympic gold medal. And then like everyone else went around and said their answers. And I kind of thought, oh, I can't believe I just said that. I thought I haven't skated in 16 years. Like, I thought that part of my life was parked, and I had moved on. So I thought about it for 2 weeks. I thought about that. I couldn't believe that I had said that. And so finally I asked my mom to get my 16-year-old boots and blades out of her basement, and she had to dust them off. There was dust on them, and try to skate again and see kind of what I could do. And I mean, certainly if you would have told me when I went on that first public session and was so nervous about doing a single axel again for the first time that I would be here 5 years later, I wouldn't believe you.
And then you decided to go into pairs.
Yes, yeah. So that was a very kind of serendipitous scenario. My coach who coached me at Junior Worlds in 2000 and the Junior Grand Prix final in 1999, she had moved to Florida. So I was going down there to visit her. And
Cindy Capral never changes. Oh my gosh. I include a bit of this fluff piece for, I believe, the 92 Olympics. Could have been 94. And because it involves one of Cindy's most successful students from when I was skating, her name is Katie Wood. And you probably heard about her from Cindy as she went on to do pairs in the former Soviet Union. And
tripped. I really don't remember much of it. And he fell down as well as I.
So yes, she was in a very serious accident. She was hospitalized, and but the reason this was part of the Olympic piece was that Victor Petrenko and his coach Galina, who now coaches in the Northeast, had like saved up and then donated to Katie like clean linens and bandages and all kinds of things, and translated in the hospital and everything. And she ended up safely coming home, and she retired from skating at that point. But I thought you might want to know about that, since she was by far the best skater in the area. Cindy was the coach to go to, and she was coaching out of Northbrook at that time. Max, before pairs and before Florida and before Jim Peterson and Nate and everything, all that, before you, she was out of the Chicago area, obviously, where her mom lives and her husband, and I was skating at the Wilmette Ice Rink. That is a suburb of Chicago. Just like I was saying, Northbrook, that's also a suburb of Chicago, and then the north side. And I believe probably just because it was a good ice time, there was like a 3-hour at least freestyle at 6 a.m. on Saturdays at Wilmette Ice Rink. And that had been my ice rink as a child. I had skated more recreationally, certainly, than Deanna. Deanna's coach would not have known who I was, just because I wasn't like, a senior lady or vying for a trip to the Junior Grand Prix. I was just more of a recreational skater, but I took 25 years off and then came back. So that is when we met. It's kind of like my first year and a half back skating. And Deanna, I think it was like within the first 5 times you skated again is when you started coming. And you definitely would come on that Saturday because it was great ice time. No one wanted to get up. And Wilmette, at the time at least, was not, when I came back, when I was young, it was a very, very competitive Skokie Valley Figure Skating Club rink. It was the head of that figure skating club. But then later, no. So no one wanted to get up. So it was mainly a few adult skaters. And then you had known growing up Quentin Kyle. And he saw you. So Max, I want to give you a couple little stories here for both of you. Because it's just things that I knew about or noticed before you got back to, you know, a more elite level and trying pairs and everything down in Florida. So it was when you were still, not still, but you were working on like an axle double toe combination. And you ventured for the double loop, and sometimes you'd ask for feedback, and I was really kind of honored that you'd even ask me. But Quentin, you just walked down the ramp into the rink. You weren't even on the ice, and you had bleached blonde hair, like really blonde, and you were extremely fit. But I know you had not been on skates. And so you had your old skates with you. And Quentin goes to me, because I would always like put on my skates with him or something. It's like 5:30, 5:45 in the morning on Saturdays. And he goes, that is one of the greatest. He recognized you like right away before you were even on the ice. And it was really funny because for a while, you could see coaches being like, who is that? And having you be a bit older. But like something I noticed the very first day is maybe you had an axle double toe, but your crossovers, your stroking, your carriage, your presence on the ice, I could already tell you were someone who was really good. I couldn't figure it out either. And I didn't know because, well, I think you know about this. I did tell you, but, this is years ago and you've met 6 million people since you met me. But, so Max, the reason I retired from skating just this past December was I kept having injuries where I would break things and like need surgery. And that is because I had anorexia for 2 decades. Yeah. And it was really during the time when like a woman is building bone, mass. And so I could like land a double sock house and stuff. And Deanna, you knew me when I was toiling trying to learn my axle, but I would land like a jump or do something pretty decent, and then I trip on my way back to the wall and like break my ankle and need so it was not good. It was not safe for me to continue skating. I broke 4 ribs this past December doing like the toe pick fall where you just hit your toe. I landed on my ribs, so that was the end for me. But I was so fortunate during that time that I was skating well at the time and I was not injured, and I got to see Deanna go from the axle to a triple Lutz in like so fast. So I don't even know when you came, Deanna, but it had to have been like February, March or something. By June, Max, she was headed to Florida. So I also remember that you would come on those. We all skated like the whole time and really worked on choreography and on everything on Saturday. So that's when I got to know you the best. And then you came a few mornings a week before work, and then there was this period of time where you're like, okay, I think I'm taking a leave of absence. So you'd been at your job for like 10 years, so you really needed there. And so Max, she was like training somebody else to do the job, and your work. So sometimes you'd be like, I worked for 12 hours yesterday and it was 6 the next morning, or you'd have to go into work on Saturday yeah. And then I think when you left in June, I think you first took a leave and then ended up saying, no, I think it was kind of like to see what happened in Florida. I think you were going to go assess your single skills down there with Cindy. Because at the time, pairs had not entered your mind as an option. As far as I knew, you had gotten a triple Lutz back, and that's what people were doing in senior ladies. So, and that's what people are doing in senior ladies. There may be combinations, but I remember very well one time, Max, Deanna, you're not one to cheat a jump. Okay? You will land that jump clean, or as I saw, you were making use of those shorts that are the better new padding that is available, but you were taking some really hard falls, getting the full rotation on your double axel back. And I mean, you're falling pretty hard, and you're like, Amy, should I be really? You were discouraged. Should I be discouraged and upset that I don't have my double axle back? And I'm like, well, Deanna, how many times have you been on the ice now? How many times does this make? And you're like, well, I don't know, like less than 10. I was like, okay, now, ne t'inquiète pas. And I think that Cindy would say the exact same thing. You're going to be fine. I mean, you got your spins back like immediately. Their speed, it was just a matter of getting the feeling of rotating faster, I think, because once you got your double axle, then 2 Saturdays later, you were landing like triple toes on and all these little kids didn't know what to do because they'd never been with someone so fast and so good at our rink. And so I'm like, young ladies, you can't stand. They were like in Lutz Lane, you know, we call it that in the United States, Max, where people do Lutzes, or used to do Lutzes, the way they, you know, go across the end of the rink. And I was like, can you guys maybe move to the other circle? Because I didn't know what they were doing. I'm like, and you were like barreling down. I mean, they would do their single toe loop and you'd get out of the way for them. But I was like, she's trying to do a triple flip, you know. And so, I mean, you got your triple toe, and then I think it was just, you figured out rotating, I think you figured out like the momentum and what you needed to do with your arms and stuff. I know you're working with a pole harness coach, and then she had her triple Lutz in a few more weeks max. But yeah, people wanted you they were like all about it. People were like, Amy, did you have her contact information? I was like, okay. I hate when coaches are like stealing students and soliciting students and stuff. And I mean, you might remember it, but there were a few there that were like, they were like abandoning their own kids during their lessons to go like help you with your triple flip because they wanted you so much. And like 3 weeks in, they like huddle around me and they're like, okay, who is she? Who is she? I was like, it's Deanna Stellato. Look on the sign-in sheet. It's Deanna Stellato. And one of the coaches goes, knock me over with a feather. I still remember that. And then it was like a competition to try and get. I knew you were working basically with Cindy, just remotely, and filming stuff was completely new. So I was like, you know, I would offer to film you on your own phone if you wanted to see what something looked like, or like a technique issue or something that you could identify that I would know what to identify. And they're like, oh no. And I was like, I'm not going to put it on YouTube. I just maybe it'll help to look at it. It's a new thing that people do is film stuff. But you were like, oh no, you really, really want to keep it quiet. You didn't want it. You deleted your Facebook account for a while because you had one under your married name. You deleted that for a while because I think you were starting to get some people at work being like, what's going on, you know, why are you coming in all, you know, whatever, from an ice rink at 6, you know, when you've been there at 6 a.m. and I don't think you told many people. Yeah, so you really wanted to keep it quiet. And Max, I said the thing also about anorexia because it was a time where I was pretty sick when Deanna, when you were at your prime as a junior. So I really didn't know how great you had been as a young lady, as a girl. So I looked on the sign-in sheet to see your last name because you were very friendly the first day introducing yourself. And I go and look you up. There's Wikipedia. I'm like, I'm with like a champion skater, like an international champion skater. And she's like super down to earth and nice. And she's thinking of coming back to skating and she's over 30. I was like, wow, this is really amazing and cool. And I am like so lucky. Yes. So I am and was so privileged and lucky to have that opportunity to skate with you. And you taught me a camel sit, and so I couldn't figure out how to increase the momentum from the camel to the sit spin. And I saw you spinning like a top, and so I'm like, oh my gosh, Deanna, could you give me a little hint? And you're like, well, if you wouldn't mind, I would like to get through my jumps first. I'm like, no problem. No, go do those triple flips. It's all good. So you were so nice, and you were especially encouraging when I would pull in on my axles and really go for them. Yeah, you'd be like, nice axles out there today, Amy. I went ahead and landed one, but I have a couple on tape. And I'm going to take you down memory lane a little bit here. So now you know like what was going on around you during that time. And Quentin would have you demonstrate frequently for technique. Yeah, like especially when you were first working at doubles and stuff. Yeah, because his kids were working at doubles and so. But gosh, was I lucky that I was there and saw the very beginning. Yeah, and then Max, you're on the other end, seeing what's happening right now. So that's really so cool. It was such a privilege to see you both at Skate America. I have some old tapes of you, Max, I found. Yes, indeed. I wish I had more. I wish I had some more when you were younger. Even younger. And I have your novice programs from nationals, Deanna. Portions of those. Your special program that Philip Mills choreographed for you for the Carrie Lotion, like spectacular competition. I will not reveal the outcome because that's very exciting, and I think Max would like to see it. I have a few things of my own skating because I did get better, I think, after you left, Deanna, and a couple of things that I'm doing now, and in lieu of skating, and just enjoy. I hope you can like watch this on a plane or something in a little bit of a time when you guys can take a couple breaths between competitions after France. I'm not even sending this to you until after you're done in France. So anyway, enjoy.
And this year we're more constant during the week. We adjust some stuff, and that has helped. Oh yeah.
And I think that's part of getting experience as a team together too, knowing what works for the other person, knowing his triggers when he's a little tired, and I can tell, and my triggers when I'm a little tired, and and he can tell, and so we kind of keep each other in line.
Yeah. And also as to get older, the experience as to know yourself, and with all the past experience you have to, when it was hard moment, to pass through it, with experience you're able to get back on your feet way quicker. So this is a big thing also, and I'm also coaching.
Pardon me
a lot,
for talking over this, but I just loved this interview. It was so
be able to move forward.
It offered so much insight into your partnership, and
I'm like, what will
you
I do
could
if
see
I'm a coach right
the
now?
mutual
What will I
respect
do
between
to
you so
put back the
greatly.
athlete in
It was
place?
just wonderful.
And those like help a lot.
Yeah.
To be able to see every time the positive, to keep moving.
Yeah, to keep the momentum going in a forward direction.
Absolutely
so
love
that was
hearing
kind
the
of from
story
her.
of your
And then
long program.
Cleopatra
Love
was
it, Deanna.
was my idea. I had that idea 2 years ago. I wanted to. I love portraying strong female protagonists in general, and I wanted to give. I wanted to give Max a strong character to represent also. So I am Cleopatra, and he is Julius Caesar. And Julius Caesar is the first Roman emperor that Cleopatra seduced, and he left the Roman Empire for her and spent months in Egypt. So at the end, he's on his knee because he dies, but Cleopatra lives on to then seduce Mark Antony, the next Roman Empire. So that was my idea for a long time, and kind of having like an Egyptian-themed program. And as far as free program ideas, like I have every idea until the Olympics planned already.
Because
Max, I will cheer so loudly for your moment.
I love the last
in the
minute
sun.
of our long program.
That outside spread eagle.
So I'm
That
just in the
whole
air,
lift
smiling at everyone,
is just a
enjoying,
masterpiece.
spinning around, having a ball. And Maxime looked at me and he said, "Must be nice."
Yes, your solo is done a minute before.
Exactly. But for our last lift, Max puts me up into a star lift, and we do our turns to get our levels, and then he does some crossovers and actually picks up speed in the lift, which I find really impressive. And then he goes into an inside edge and then a change edge, outside edge spread eagle with me over his head the entire time.
Yeah.
I remember when he showed this lift to me that it was a possibility, I was like, why haven't we been doing this before? This is so cool.
Like
He's
long
"Oh."
time on music.
Yeah, it's long, so it's hard to fit into a free. But he loves it, and he say what you always say about that lift, about how it's your time.
It's my moment. Like every time I do it, people like when I change the edge in this pretty goal, everyone is like, "Whoa!" I'm like, oh, "That's my moment." I'm the solo. Like all the other time is Deanna. Deanna. This is my moment.
It's his moment.
Yeah, but it's true. I mean, it's.
But
Deanna, I remember
it was
you
because I
making the
took
decision
leap
to
that
leave
I'm
that
here
job.
in the first
I
place,
do
because it would have
remember
been really easy to just stay at my safe job and keep working and not do anything like this. And it goes for all walks of life. It's not even just athletes. It's just to keep on persevering.
And like this, you're gonna be able to keep going. If you don't have fun, it's hard to keep pushing. It's a passion
sure.
in the first place, skating.
Yeah.
And that's what have kept me in the sport so long also. So with the joy of skating, everything's possible. Yeah.
I have someone to introduce you to after your quote.
Also another good love. You have so many great quotes. There's no age limit.
On passion.
Oh,
yeah. There's no age limit to passion, no. That's why our coach is still coaching. And Tamara Masvina at 80, there's no
Yes.
age limit. Yeah.
So the very first competition I did was an ISA competition because the requirements for my USFSA level, or USFSA we both probably still say, were too demanding when I first came back. This is Yvonne Dowlin. She was 90 years old, of course, in her own group. And she skated to, I think, something about the violin. And I had the absolute privilege of being on the same warm-up as her. You can see her getting off the ice as I get on. And it was just magnificent. She could do a lunge. She could do a sit spin. And she could interpret the music. And she recently passed away. This was back in 2015, and this is her younger. You can see she was probably in like ice volleys or something like that. But I believe that she did die at an ice rink. I mean, I think like in the locker room, as she would have hoped. But she, that is totally, there's no age limit on passion. Well, Max, I looked you up on Wikipedia, and you were born the same year I graduated from high school. Wow. Okay, you're a baby to me. Oh my goodness. No, you're not a baby at all. You might remember some of these pictures. These are from long ago. I believe this was your partner Vanessa. Is that correct? Vanessa Grenier. It looks like, I believe, you're junior champions in 2014, and then I think this is a different person. I was having trouble with the hair color. I think that's a different person, and then, but I was thinking this might have been Vanessa. Her hair doesn't look dark enough. I don't know. I was thinking all of this time about that you were getting these partners that you were having to start from scratch on, like, how do you do crossovers together and everything, and you're like, oh, can we just get to the triple twist already, you know? And then I think I found the partner that you were with the longest, the only other one I think that had pairs experience aside from Deanna. So this has me believing that this would be Sydney Colo. Oh gosh, I'm gonna pronounce this wrong. Colo Judge from the United States. Yes, it has me believing that because to me, it looked like she had, from what I watched and several things, it looked like she had more pair training than anyone else you skated with. Is that, am I matching the right person with you? Anyway, tripped on memory lane, and you were contending at the Canadian Championships, and you won the Junior Canadian Championships. But you hadn't had that exact and perfect fit come your way until Deanna came along. So Max, I wanted to give you your moment. Deanna, I am filming for Max's behalf because, so it's not Deanna for this movie too. Max, and savor your moment. This is it. This is fantastic. Max, are you feeling like adequate time is being devoted to you here? I want you to feel like it's fair. I do. I really do. Alright, Deanna, bring on the scrunchies, okay? So it looks like, let's see, it doesn't say when you were born. After me, for sure. But let's see, you started skating at 5, and yes, your great season, also the season that forced you to retire, your first retirement, 1999-2000, and you were the Grand Prix final winner, which I wish, gosh, I know you wish that was on tape. And then you got the silver to Jenny Kirk. That was like a rivalry you guys had within the United States. And you were skating in Northbrook and Buffalo Grove, and now I think you know, but Buffalo Grove is really the place to be. Yes, Denise Myers and Jeremy Allen are there, but there are many other coaches who have come from other areas of the country. So Chicago is like a pretty good competitive place to skate actually now. Let's see. Yes, I do have a film of the Kerry Lucian Classic, which I won't spoil, but you did very well as a young skater and later in pairs, but let's see, internationally junior, your junior Grand Prix assignments, you got a first and a fifth, and then you run the final, second at Junior Worlds. You did go to one Grand Prix senior level event, which I was mistaken on, Skate Canada, and you got 5th place there. And yeah, you won a lot of things younger as well. And I just happen to have some programs here, so I'm gonna attach some clips because I thought you guys would enjoy seeing young Deanna. So first we have the novice short program. All right. Here's some of your novice short program from nationals. Bet you didn't know I had this.
Deanna Stellato.
Novice ladies long, free skate, love the scrunchie, love it, loving it, yes. And I would like to include this whole program here. This is your skate at like the where you, gosh, it was so big in the day with like professional and amateur skaters, and you skated a perfect program. This was your free skate that Philip Mills did. The artistry, the development in your skating was so remarkable in those 2 years, and something very special happens at the end, Max.
It is also her competitive number that she will be doing at the Nationals. Her opening jump is this triple Lutz, double toe.
She's been having trouble with this. Lutz. Nice one there.
Oh, very close to the boards.
But very nice and complete.
See a lot more flair in her performance out here tonight, more so than I saw in the practices. She really is making this number come alive. She's holding the moves out longer than she kind of was rushing through the practices.
Going to be fun to watch her skate against Jenny Kirk for some years. Last year, she won the Junior Grand Prix final over Kirk, but came in second behind Jenny at the Junior World Championships.
Nice speed on that combination spin.
Almost a false ending, that point in the choreography. Would be nice if she stretched the leg out better to begin with in the early part of the spin.
She's very pleased with herself.
See, she has elected to do her competitive program. The competition really calls for interpretive programs, which are more entertaining and less technical. Yet I guarantee you, everybody will respond, including the judges, to that series of triple
youngster looking to leave an imprint in his first competition of the season. Jenny Kirk did it already. Deanna Stellato has just done it with her performance here in Kennewick.
And that was a very difficult performance for her to do, particularly this early in the year. Nice job. She's been having trouble with this triple Lutz, but this one was good. But notice how close she gets to the board as she takes in that double toe loop. That is dangerous. Takes your concentration right away from the jump. This triple toe, very good and solid. Nice turns and a good smile to pull out of it.
Jenny Kirk, Todd Eldridge in the lead right now for the moment. The first set for Deanna Stellato. Very high, 5.8 and two 5.9s. Cindy Watson Caprell, her coach, alongside. And now the mark for presentation, including a perfect 6.0. 58.6. An extremely high number for Deanna Stellato with Michael Weiss still to come.
Isn't that exciting for her?
She will now watch and cheer for the world.
Oh my God, you're never gonna believe what happened. Okay, I just got off the ice cream, don't you know, and I got a 6 for artistic. A 6. Yeah.
Deanna Stellato just a little bit excited about her performance, and the judge's marks on the phone to her choreographer, Philip Mills, to tell him the news. Well,
So I was just so super impressed by this, especially because it had been obvious that you had grown a bit, and since you were a novice and become a young woman, and yet you retained your technical skills, which doesn't always happen. And these are the best pictures at the end. There were some screenshots I took. So as you know, then your career trajectory changed when you came back, and you guys did really well, like just out of the gate in pairs. My seat neighbor at Skate America and I were like, oh my gosh, USFSA must be kicking themselves for not helping you out more to find a partner domestically. But it seems like there was no one really appropriate in age or skill level. So, hence, you went searching elsewhere to Canada. And who was there? Yes, Maxime, you were there. And it was meant to be. And that's great. But a small complication, or very large COVID. And I know that prevented you from seeing your family, you from training, especially in Canada, border closures. But it seems like it has enhanced your partnership unbelievably, and I'm so happy for you.
Who are just amazing orators and writers, and this is like the perfect example of perseverance in skating. Just gorgeous performance, exquisite.
we'll get those numbers, and then the last team to take the ice.
I love all these pictures. Triumphant short and the fierceness in your face in the beginning of that long, winning at Nebelhorn, working with Bruno Massot on the triple twist, which you got a higher level than the Kinnearums on. And this is the beginning of that fantastic lift at the end. I believe that's Nebelhorn there. And just the fierce attack that you bring to your skating. This is before the ending and celebrating. So some very special photos of Skate Skate America and Neville Horn here. This is me before your competition in France, because I believe you can win. I know you can do it. I sent your victory lap video to Cindy, and she said, I'm hoping for many more of these moments. So I have to admit, au contraire de Deanna, I'm not the most competitive person. I just loved skating as an adult, and this is one of my favorite programs. It was for an exhibition, so I didn't have particularly hard technical things in it, and I choreographed it myself. I'm hoping to show musicality, grace, line, attention to detail, speed, power, flow, that kind of thing. So Deanna, after you left, I began working with Jeremy Allen as my primary coach, and he lived in Winnetka, and he would like swing by Wilmette and catch a bunch of skaters, because he mainly serves as an adjunct coach for jump coaching, but he does work with several people at a time as a primary coach, and I was so privileged. That was a great experience for me. These are just some pictures of things I really like to do. I really liked spinning, actually, and It came more naturally to me. I had not really done spirals. Spiral sequences were not a thing for my level or at all, really, when I was younger. And so a lot of this stuff was new, but it was more stuff that involved skating skills and what I saw the ice dancers doing and what I saw people doing between jumps and spins, that I thought, now, okay, so in my late 40s, what can I work on that's most sustainable and makes the most sense, that I can really accomplish at this age. And Deanna, I had not been someone like you and Max. I had not had triple jumps, that kind of thing. I had like maybe a consistent double loop, but so that wasn't the biggest goal for me. I really enjoyed the artistry, and I actually would think I was faster. My spins were better. My positions and lines were better as an adult because I was a lot more aware of them. So that was a real big focus for me. We did definitely work on my singles because that was going to be mostly what was in my program, and you'll see some axles here. But I worked on jump combinations the same as anyone else would. They were just my level jump combinations and correct edges. You can see there you go, Deanna, there's one for you. I think this one was better. My axle was consistent, and then I ended up kind of losing it with injury, but that's okay. It was a success that I got it in the first place. This was one time during a program run through in practice. I think I was really shocked that I landed it in the run through. And this was the only time I ever tried it in a competition program, or that it was even planned. Because I would either land it or I would usually like fall pretty hard, and so it would kind of compromise the program. So this was before Jeremy, and this camel sit here. I couldn't always depend on it. Deanna, this is thanks to you. I learned how to maintain and increase speed in the middle of a combination spin. So maybe I got my love of spinning from watching you, because your spins came back to you so quickly when you came back to skating. You're like, it's the relaxing part of skating for me. And it wasn't hard for you at all. I'm like, good grief. Oh gosh, that's not me at all. But so this was pretty funny, because I'm going into it. I came without a coach to this competition, and I'm like, okay, am I going for it? Am I? I don't know. Am I? So yes, indeed, I went for it. I was super happy with that result. This is the end of the program. I didn't even know I was supposed to salute the judges. I was Judge IJS. I didn't know anything. I saluted the audience because it was all my young skating friends from the rink. And they were so happy about the axle. And for me, just in general. So I salute like the audience, and then I'm like, oh, judges, oh, hi there. And then you can see my reaction when I got off the ice. I was so, that was to the judges. I was so just overjoyed at kind of your reaction at Skate America. Yeah. I think this was after a hiatus of not having landed one in a while, so it's always a victory. But Jeremy was super smart, and he loved actually helping me with choreography and spins. I mean, he loved, I think, getting to do something besides only jump stuff. So I think he made the step sequence up for me. We realized in my level that an axle is 1.1, as you know, points, and my step sequence began at a 2. So why not? I mean, that had the hardest starting value of anything. So why not learn new turns that I had never learned, and maximize my scoring potential. I think I got a 25 one time. That was like my thrilling score total. And I did achieve a bucket list item, which was to do a solo at Millennium Park. After free skating lessons on Saturdays, they would invite a few people to do solos before the public sessions, and they invited another friend of mine and myself to show that adults can skate too. And that was like just a wonderful moment. I had never really skated in a proper rink outdoors. So I did pull harness. Deanna, I believe it's a wonderful invention. My gosh. So there's some more axles. I really just enjoyed just the freedom of skating so much. See a layback coming up here, and I was glad that the people I worked with given limitations from things that had happened with injury, they pushed me to be my best self. So I was like told lower on a sit spin, or faster on skating, or more power and everything like that. And it wasn't dumbed down for me. People always encouraged me to get better, so that was a great part of skating. The ending here is just a few last things that were part of a skating montage that I put together for a friend who asked me to do so for my adult skating life. I think that was the first day I landed the double sow. And yeah, I have a couple of last spins, I think, in here. It was kind of an explanatory video, so that's why it's on the screen there. Obviously, you know what a combo spin is. And last but not least, yes, they do have spiral competitions, and the competition here was how long can you hold it. So basically without falling over or wavering or something. And I did end up winning that one. That's something I kind of like challenged the younger skaters to do. It was a spiral contest.